here we go again. Long time no see. I think it's been 4 weeks since the last video. Let's take a look what markets have been doing. Really boring, as it turns out. 2018 really is that finding yourself year here for the markets. And I think it's pretty understandable. We're looking at the S&P. Look at this huge uptrend that we traded. These are the entries. This was the stop. We took the profits of this trend. All we want, all we are here for, and now comes the hard part. Don't lose any chips of the ones that you gained in the previous trend. And here we see this consolidation that the market is in, and it has been in here ever since January or February of 2018. You can see the market is on top of the balance zone that I always refer to, and this simply means there's no new incoming information. Bulls can't make up their mind, bears can't make up their mind, so you don't get a trend in any direction. Totally normal behavior after a trend. And this is exactly what we see here now. Problem with this side movement in the S&P, which I take for an indication for this correction to keep on going, is that we don't have an AO below the zero line. Usually when you have a trend building up momentum like it did, here we have the momentum peak. We see in a correction after this trend the AO, the momentum turning to the other side, breathing on the other side, not building momentum to the downside, which would have a trend unfold to the downside, but simply going below this zero line, showing us that all the momentum is out for the bulls, and we are getting some fresh energy into this market and having it turn up again later on. But what you see is the AO bars coming below the zero line, and you're going to get some below, you're going to get some above and below and above and below. And for price, this simply means that the price is trading up and down and up and down and up and down, breaking fractals inside the balance zone here, as it has already done. And these are always the tricky signals here. It looks like a breakout to the upside, but very often you get trapped in this huge side move. And as it turns out, a little bit later on, as the correction keeps on going, you have your upper and your lower border of the side movement. Here is the upper one, and this is the lower one. As soon as they are broken, you would be trying to go in that direction. But pay attention, you don't sell unless your overall time frame is below the balance zone, which on the monthly we are a gazillion years away from. On the monthly in the S&P, we're still looking very much like a continuous uptrend. For the monthly, it is no biggie at all to trade for 3 or 4 months in a side movement and then continuing upwards. That would not negate an uptrend on the monthly chart. On the weekly, that does get us out, and we would be waiting and not holding longs in such a corrective phase. Before we sell, a lot has to happen. The monthly chart first needs to establish a sell fractal, and then we sell. So this is our lower border. If it gets hit, we are expecting the market to come a little bit lower to hit monthly supports, but I'm not selling into that, as we are not trending, and that's the important part. We're still up, so we're trying to buy this as it continues up. I am long from this fractal here, but it's probably going to be a fake out, and it's not going to continue higher. You can already see here that no momentum to the upside gets going. It's the most boring stuff, exactly what you want to see in a correction, and we haven't been below the zero line. That's probably going to happen soon, so I'm keeping extremely tight stops. The position is already extremely small, just to make sure we are not missing a continuation of the uptrend. I'm putting in the buy order again when a fractal in the trend direction is hit, but the hope of that continuing upwards for a really long time and adding on and all that stuff is minimal, because there is no fresh trend starting when you don't have an AO below the zero line, significantly below the zero line, which we can see much better in the Japanese index. We were long in that thing as well. Now it looks a little bit messy here. These are the black lines, are the long entries that I mentioned. This is a long entry that I mentioned. They all got stopped out here at this blue line, and now we have a market inside, even below the balance zone here. Look at how we went below the zero line in the AO. If a fractal builds up here, then this is a good buy signal with a standardized risk that we take here, and we would buy that because the monthly chart is still on top of the balance zone here, as you can see in this red line. I'm still so watching this. Decade long resistance has been broken here. The market touches back on that level here at the 21,200 kind of area, and as we go higher, there is no resistance left. We're going to hit 40,000 here. If that holds, if the market can build up that momentum to the upside. Who knows? Right now, it's a waiting game here. We're waiting for a new fractal to be created, and then we would buy this again. I have mentioned on my Twitter account the FTSE index for quite a while, and this is so interesting here. You have your uptrend that didn't really get going. A lot of divergences coming in here. Yes, you could buy this. You got stopped out, made a little bit of money, but not that big of a deal. As the market made new all-time highs here right in January of 2018, it failed us and went down all the way. It looked like it's going to break through to the downside, but look at this extreme V-shape correction. Extreme V-shaped correction that is even making new highs. And that's really significant for me that usually your V-shaped correction doesn't end in making new highs, but it's going to stop before that, just above that balance zone, giving you a fractal, and then you buy it. But that didn't happen here. You have so much momentum in this that it immediately makes a new high. And the most interesting thing is this week. It makes a new high, but it's not even able to stay above that for that long, and it gives us this hammer or this bearish divergent bar. So I would almost put my hand in the fire here, or I don't know what this saying is in English, to put in a sell order and sell this, as it's most likely going to drop back into the balance zone and going to do nothing, absolutely nothing, just like the US indices. When you take a look at the monthly chart, we do have new all-time highs in here. That is a reason to buy for sure, but if that momentum can't hold up, it's gonna drop right back into it, and what this was a fake out. Therefore, I wouldn't be holding too many positions here. I wouldn't be too bullish on this as of now. I would first like to see that this level holds. It might drop back a little bit, fail at the moving averages, which are support, and then turn up higher again. But that needs to be proven first. From my gut feeling, which is something that you do not trade on, I'm putting in a sell order and sell this, which I'm not doing, I'm just saying. But that looks really, really crazy here. And people who like to sell tops, that would be their perfect situation here on this weekly in the UK. Let's take a look at the most annoying markets for the past years, gold and silver. Just look at this gold chart here. We have been long. I have been stopped out again here below those levels. Now we're right back there with this green bar this week. Overall, I'm still looking for this break of 1400. If that ever should be broken, I'm gonna be a buyer again. Right now, I got stopped out of my long. It was a small loss, as this has already failed us so many times before. Silver is exactly the same deal, except that I have not been stopped out here. I'm still waiting. This is my long entry. Very bad entry. I was a little too quick to pull the trigger here. I should have waited for a break here of 1820, but went in already at 1735. And now we're waiting. We have been waiting for such a long time here. Such a long time. Months this has been taken already, and it's not going anywhere. Let's see if this ever moves to the upside again. I love how the momentum is losing. Look at this momentum here. Nothing is happening. We're totally dead in those markets. So at some point you're going to see this massive breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. So you want to make sure you have your orders in to be able to participate in that. As per the usual trend following theory, the longer a market is sleeping, the more it's going to break out, the longer it's going to trend in the aftermath. So let's wait and see if that ever's going to happen in the silver and gold markets. Fact is, you really need to have your patience. You really got to stay with these guys, because they're only going to give you that one chance where you are able to enter the market. You're not going to get 100 million chances to put in your order because you fell asleep during the correction. No, you got to watch this over all these years, and then at this one point, that's where you're gonna go and put in the order and sell or buy. And that's exactly what they always say, or what they mean when they say it's like when you're trading, it's like your sniper, your professional waiter. You're not doing anything, you're just waiting, and then there's this one point where you can execute on your system, and the market is going to give you what makes sense in accordance to your system. And that just means that it's like in the animal world where you're waiting forever to catch your prey, and then you wait for that perfect moment. And that's what we are doing, and that's when we catch the trend. New Zealand dollar yen, to talk about some forex stuff, breaks out right here, right now, below 75.60, and that's where we are selling. Um, I see this possibly at 69. Let's see if that's gonna make it down here. Not an opinion, it's just an order that is filled as or in accordance to the system, and let's see if it gets going. I have no idea. British pound yen, also the same scenario here, as pairs against the are getting weaker against the yen. British pound yen, here we have a nice sell at this. I actually like this. 145 is the trigger point, and then this could go down to 124. Downtrend here, and this is an correction that breaks fractals to the upside but never gets going, and then it hits you with that sell fractal here. I usually really like this because what you have is a downtrend, a correction, and a continuation of the downtrend. We're not expecting too much momentum in this now, as the momentum move was this one here, but in order to establish divergences, this market needs to see new lows, at least in accordance to the theory. And with the failed breakouts here, which took a long time, now we have our sell fractal. This is a perfect place to sell at 145, and putting in some patience to hit 125. We do have a 2000 pip target, and I can absolutely live with that. Let's take a look at the US dollar Canadian. A little bit stronger here for the week. I have a buy in at 131 something, 130, 125 or so. If that should ever be hit, I'm buying this there. And in the same regard, I am waiting for US dollar yen to form a fractal as well. Because in my opinion, this could still be this here, and what follows here could still max out at 127 or something like that, or even go higher, as it's a continuation of this previous trend. But we first need a fractal buy to get in the market. I like those entries because they have failed before, after it breaks up in this area above the balance zone, it's not able to continue that upside, and it's breaking fractals to the downside but never gets going there. And what usually happens is the market zooms around, just like we have seen here in those weeks, and it's creating a fractal on the other side and then breaking out to the upside. And that's what you buy, and then you're on the correct side of the trend. Also, I had been selling in here. And this doesn't make me a lot of money, but I don't know if the market is going to drop that fast or much, or even if it drops. I have no fundamental opinion in that. So I'm just following it down. If it doesn't work, I'm going to follow it to the upside. You have to be very flexible in that regard and not expect anything, so that you are open-minded enough to really follow the market wherever it goes. So these are the developments of the past couple of weeks. Not really a whole lot is going on. This is a very difficult time, in my opinion, for the long-term guys, as this is where you lose your money. It's not difficult to trade a trend, to stay with the trend and hold on to your position as long as it makes money. Just in brackets, it's very difficult to do that. Most people find it much easier to hold on to a losing position, hoping and hoping and hoping that it turns around, versus the other way around, where you say, okay, I have something that makes money, let's just hold it, let's keep it in the market, and let's have it make more money. That's usually the difficult part. But it's even more difficult not to have a position. That's probably the most tricky situation that you can have as a long-term trader, especially. No position at all. And in this regard, let's just look a little bit at cryptos, and let's look at bitcoins. In my approach to cryptos is the approach that I have to everything. I don't care what people say. I only look at, is it tradable or is it not tradable? And Bitcoins haven't been tradable for a very long time of their existence. But I'm thinking that should upside signals be hit at any point in the future, talking about fractals here or fractals here, maybe coming lower, giving you a nice hammer as we are sitting on this support here, which would be a nice buy. This would be something that I'm considering to buy. Um, every crypto chart looks exactly the same, just like the one that you see here right now, pretty much exactly the same. And the big question is this the first major type of correction that will have a massive move to the upside followed? Or is all the money already in cryptos and there's nothing left that would get this going? Now, I don't know and I don't care. I just follow the market. And if this yields opportunity, then why not take it? As cryptos are this new kind of asset class that has thousands of percentages of potential, and that's what I want to profit from or take advantage of. So applying the same trading system to cryptos as is applied to all the other markets. Let's wait and see. 2018 might just be the year that we're gonna get so bored and that many people are gonna lose the stuff that they made, the money that they made beforehand, and some people will just stop following me or others because it's so boring and nothing happens. But this whole get rich quick and go and sit in front of the computer and make money every day, that is media hype. It does not exist in the real trading world, and this is not how great traders have made their money. They are the ones who can live with this boredom and who know when to do nothing. And actually, most of the time, you have to do absolutely nothing. And that's the hard part. We humans are unable to do that for some reason. So do nothing and make a lot of money. That's how we do it. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're still here after this 4 week of break. And post any comment, like the video, and see you soon, hopefully.